the creation of the single kingdom is a really interesting one. And that's the whole point of the treaty, right? There's one single kingdom. And that's what we heard the Lord Advocate saying, Dorothy Bain saying at the Supreme Court. The two former kingdoms of England and Scotland were extinguished, and the new one of the United Kingdom, eventually the United Kingdom of Great Britain, came into being. That's some rubbish. A kingdom is the jurisdictional territory of a crown. So if you have a crown, you have a kingdom. If you have a kingdom, you have a crown. There never was one crown created. Instead, because, and presumably because of the condition and the claim of right, it's because James was booted out for not taking the Scottish coronation oath, which any monarch of Scotland is legally obliged to do. Interestingly, no monarch, English monarch since Anne, has actually taken the Scottish coronation oath, presumably because they have to uphold the crown, which is the people. But what happened instead was that in 1708, the English Treason Act was imposed on Scotland, which changed the character of the crown. It became Scotland's treason became an act under the English crown. And then the English coronation oath, as it says in the House of Commons Library, was extended to Scotland. Well, that just means Scotland was added to the English crown. The Scottish crown still remains. Constitutionally, it's a constitutional fact. The English crown still remains. It's just renamed the Crown of the UK. It's the same one going back to 1066. Scotland is added to that one, which means the two kingdoms actually still remain. And that means the United Kingdom has never come into existence. And what that means is that Scotland was annexed. Scotland was added to the English crown. And you can see that when you come to the very first Petroleum Extraction Act, which was, I think, 1934, where these minerals, oil and gas, are vested in His Majesty. In Scotland, they're vested in the crown. The crown is the people. They're classed as common good assets. So we're seeing the English crown taking Scotland's assets in right of the English crown. Even if it's calling itself the British UK crown, it's the English crown. The Scottish crown is still there. It means the two kingdoms are there. It means the treaties never come into effect, that we were annexed. If none of the conditions of that agreement are to be met or honoured, the claim of right, the sovereignty of the people, then we don't have a partnership agreement. And what all that means is, Alf Baird is right. It doesn't matter what your idea of a colony is or what you think it should look like. In international law, Scotland's a colony because we're a non-self-governing territory. We're a people subject to a foreign sovereignty. The English crown is not the Scottish crown, and that's easily proved. And we do not have a partnership agreement. So, we're not fish nor fowl for all of those who say, well, Scotland's not a colony. How ridiculous. Look, this is what colonies look like. Well, I'm sorry. But in international law, yes, we are. So that's what we have to prove. I'm sure most of us don't have a massive idea about what's going on in, say, Nigeria or Chad or and neither do most of the international community know much about Scotland and Ireland and Britain and, what that looks like. So when the international community was told that we were not a colony not a dependency, because we're a voluntary partner in this union, and that was signed off, by the way, as a statement in 1954 by both houses of Parliament and the Queen, then that's serious, and that's the official definition, and that's what Scotland is. It's a voluntary partner. We're not. It was a lie. But the international community, accepted that. And so did most people in Britain.